Welcome everyone. My name is Tayan Cordero. I work with innovation and technology here at Klabin, and today we are going to talk about innovation in the Klabin industry, in particular in a project called Karretel, which is the Portuguese word for real, and we are going to talk about some of the main decisions and actions that we have been implementing in this project, in this journey that we have had so far. So I want to invite Guilherme Moscato to tell us a little bit about this Carretel project. What is the challenge? What is the problem that we are facing for those that don't know? Everyone, I'm very happy to be here with you today. This is a very important event, and not only to Klabin, but for everyone that is watching here, especially for those that are organizing the event. I say thanks in advance. And yes, so let's talk about the Carretel project. This is a project that is bringing a solution for our factory. So we are talking specifically about the Monte Alegre unit. We produce paper here for the Klabin Group, and this project is treating a problem, an issue that we've always had that we could never quite solve. We could never really find a solution. So for those that don't know, you see it on the screen here. This is a picture, this is an image of the paper producing process. Basically, we produce paper with our machinery, with our raw materials. In the beginning, in the early slide, you can see that. So we roll this paper up in this roll, this giant roll. You can see that it has almost 50 tons of paper rolled in this jumbo roll, as we call it, and we put it in coils. So we divide it in coils and or reels, and we sell those coils and reels to the customers as they need them. So in this process where we transform jumbo rolls into reels, we have a bit of a loss. We take a loss in this paper that is already done, it's already produced, and there is a lot of cost involved in producing this paper. And we call this loss disaggregate. So it's part of the paper that is rolled and it doesn't turn into reel because of a number of reasons. This disaggregate that you see here on this line, it accounted for roughly 9% of the production in the two main machineries that we have here. We have machines 7 and 9 to produce cardboard and paper, and this disaggregate happens in a number of levels. You can see that there's a list of losses of points that contribute to this aggregate, and in the last one is the real leftovers, and that's why we call the project Carretel, the Portuguese word for real. This is the paper that is left over when it gets crumpled or rolled in this cone, in this shaft where we roll the paper to be able to produce the jumbo rolls. And this leftover happens for a number of reasons, and we just lose that material. So just for those that don't know, almost 10% of what we produced that could be sold, that could generate revenue, is leftover, is discarded. And this is an inefficiency, right? Yes, this is the disaggregate. We take different kinds of losses in this whole process, and all of that gets added up to about 9% of the production. So we have this major piece, which is the real leftovers. We've been having this problem for a while. It's a major loss because whenever we talk about the loss of the end product, everything gets accumulated. So as you go through the process, there's a lot of cost related to the product, and that tends to accumulate and increase. So we see that this is a major loss that we've always taken, and we could never come up with a continuous, long-lasting solution for us to capture this loss and to eliminate it, or at least to reduce it to the bare minimum. So speaking about that, how much are we talking about here? We are talking about many millions of reais. We are talking about roughly 20 to 30 million reais that we lose just on the reels, right? Yes, in the total disaggregate loss. And we want to capture a little bit of this loss, and step by step we want to recover it. That's why we need an innovative process here, because this is something that we've had in all of our paper machines. This is the numbers that we see. And if we capture just a tiny bit of that, we are talking about 2,200 tons per year in paper. So that's almost 20 hours of production. It's like a 1 day's production that we can capture and prevent the systemic loss. So in other words, it's a gigantic problem. We try to solve it. We try to find solutions in the past, in the last 10 or 15 years. And right now, in the last year, it seems that we found a tool that, that has been providing good insights to solve this problem. And this is exactly what we are here to tell you about in the Innovation Festival. So you and Marcelo, you can tell us a little bit about what we are seeing as a solution. And yeah, you can tell us very briefly, and let's learn about the process so far. Well, I think that the main thing here, and Marcelo can also chime in, is to get people involved, those that really use the solution, and the way that these stakeholders are going to interact with the solution that we are imagining. There's no use in doing something that works for us and doesn't work for those that operate, for those that actually use it. This solution will absolutely have to be long-lasting. So Marcelo can explain it better. I mean, how is that coming along in this beginning of the project in the last few months? That's right. My colleague said it very well. We have to develop a tool that is useful for the operator and also to facilitate operators' understanding of how this project is important. So since the beginning, since we started, our first conversations have always been about bringing operators close to us, because they are the ones that go through the entire process in the machine. They have to be involved in the discussions, in our chats, because we want to develop something that is going to provide a real benefit for them, that is really relevant for the operation on the day-to-day. Basically, there's no point in pushing a solution, right? We have to take a look at the journey. We have to look at the pain points of the people involved in the process, and the solution has to adapt to them and not the other way around. The solution has to adapt to their daily activities, because the operators are the ones that roll the jumbo rolls. They are the ones that oversee this part of the process. So, but yeah, getting into it, again, let's talk about the mindset of innovation which we are dealing with here. It's a mindset of experimentation. It's a lab mindset. So what are some of the decisions that you can share with us? What are some of the relevant actions that you have perceived that you have to take and that your colleagues have to take in the industry? What are some of the novelties or some of the differences when you have to run a project like that? What have you learned in this regard, in this journey? Well, I would say that all of the factories at Klabin here, we have scripts. We have ways that we go about solving problems that really work out. They have always worked out. It's not by chance that Klabin is as big as it is. Each facility has a complex way of going about things. However, there are some problems that we perhaps haven't been able to solve with our scripts, with our workflows, and with the solutions that we always look inside. So, especially now, with this situation, being in the pandemic, and the reason that we are gathered together here virtually is precisely that. That creates more difficulty, yes, but the way that we see the problem, and we bring people on board, just like we said, we bring people from the tech lab to see problems in a different way, to bring innovation to the core of the problem, and I think this is definitely one of the major milestones for us, so we can actually get a project like that off the ground. Besides the fact that we are involving people that are going to use that, like you said, we are creating a solution for the people. We are not bringing something off the shelf. And it's not by chance that, we would be able to include other problems that we feel that this solution and process can help with. So to me, that's the major kicker, that's the major shift. This is something that we are going to create and it's going to set roots. That's going to be our troubleshooting solution. Yes, one thing that I think is really important that I see in a very evident way in this process is the way that we can break that mindset of, no, I have to have a 100% ready-made solution to start thinking about what has to be done. Or, hey, this problem is so huge, we are talking about a million dollar problem to Klabin, so we have to have a very robust solution to start with. These mindsets come up, fall apart. Our first proof of concept, and Marcelo can explain to us a little better, it was an Excel spreadsheet. That was it. I don't know if you know the case of Easy Taxi, that app. The first proof of concept of Easy Taxi that came after Uber was a website where people would just put their address, and a human being was actually behind the whole thing and calling taxis to try and get some transportation for that person. So that's the lean mindset. That's the fail fast, learn fast, lean mindset. And I think that's what really helps, and that really penetrates in people's mindset, and you start failing faster, and you understand there's no problem in failing a lot. The problem is failing expensive, it's failing big and taking a long time to fail. So that's a great mindset. I would like to hear from Marcelo what is his take on the lessons we learned. I think that's what it is. Back when we first started talking about it, when we first started developing a method which is useful, we first thought small. We thought of a tool that would be easy to test on the machine. And I think that just the sheer excitement of operators when they were involved in the conversation, when they began participating, and they understood the benefit that this project would bring, not only for the machine, but for the group as a whole. That was really tangible. It was really significant. We were able to quickly have a first pilot, so we tested that on the machine. And from then on, we started testing new ideas with the operators always being involved. So we saw this thing being built. We created a method that is already reaping some good results, and there's still a lot to do. But we have realized that we are in the right direction. So that's the good side of innovating, right? Innovation actually gets people engaged. People get excited about new things, about things that are really here to solve the problem that is happening in practice, right? So that's the good side of innovation. But yeah, I think we're almost wrapping up this conversation here. I just want to close with a question. And I would like to first hear it from Marcelo, and then Moscato, and then I can give you my answer so we can conclude. What is innovation to you, Marcelo? Wow, that's a great question. Innovation to me is developing different ideas to create new solutions to our process. When we were talking off the air, you said in one tweet, what would be innovation to you, right? I would say that that it's the mother of solutions that we felt had no solution. That's a good one. Well, I think innovation is a new horizon, right? People talk about the great blue ocean, and you have a new way of doing things that is just, the old way just loses its meaning. We almost don't believe that we used to do like that in the past when we actually get to it. Yes, we talk about the solutions. We don't have to have NASA coming down and doing something that is out of worldly, We just have to get the right people involved. And I think what Marcelo said is really important. We get the operators involved, and that's why the thing is successful. Of course, we are still starting with this process, but we see a lot of potential for the project, and this potential is only going to become a result when we implement it. That's right. Well, in my opinion, whenever I hear this question, I already have this answer, That comes to mind. This one time, there was this university professor here in Brazil that said this, and forget his name, but I never forgot it. He said, innovation is creativity issuing invoices. So that's the thing. I mean, we're not inventors. We're not here to be marveling at different things. I mean, this is part of it. This is a tool. But once you're able to apply your imagination, to apply your creativity tools and design tools and new technologies, and to apply this innovation ecosystem, you can talk to startups and all of that. You're able to solve the problem. That's what it means by issuing invoices. That's when you really do it. And I think that's when the light bulb lights up and we move forward. So that is it, folks. Thank you so much for your time. I'm really happy to be here and to share a little of what you've done so far, and see you next time. Thanks, you guys. See you.